Well, I think although we both travelled so widely, and especially you worldwide, I think that it's true to say that the deepest love is for your own country in many ways, isn't it? And that certainly applies in terms of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, there's some great places, and I cut my photographic teeth really in Scotland, and I know you have this real deep-seated passion for Scotland.
Yeah, that's true. And there's there's so many amazing places. I'm very, very lucky actually to have travelled literally from the northernmost part of Shetland, all the way south through the Orkneys. So one place I haven't gone yet, by the way, is Fair Isle, but that will be corrected soon. Northwest and northeast coasts. All of the Outer Hebrides. Not every single island, because it's about 147 populated ones, but the majority of the big ones. And yeah, the places that immediately spring to mind are Hoy in the Orkneys. Ever been there?
No, never been.
Okay. What about in the Small Isles, Egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And of course, Lewis and Harris. Yeah. You can't miss them, can you? Yeah. Those are the most obvious. I mean, Skye. Skye is unique with these incredible mountains and the fact that you can see the mainland, especially from Trotternish. It's a big part of that kind of panorama, isn't it? But where else in Scotland on the mainland really appeals to you?
Well, I'll never ever forget that first time that I got up before dawn and I walked down to the banks of Loch Rannoch with my brand new SLR, and there was Schiehallion standing above Loch Rannoch, perfect reflections, a layer of mist there, and of course in my incredible naive inexperience, I took just 2 frames and wandered on. And then 2 weeks later when I got back and there was my little yellow box of transparencies waiting for me there, I looked at this transparency and I thought, did I take that? And I've been going back for decades since and I've never seen it like that since, So that place is a very special place in my heart. But we've had some fantastic experiences up in the Torridons, in Sutherland. Definitely another trip to Scotland is calling.
I'm going up there very, very soon. But yes, I think Assynt and Wester Ross as well. Thinking about that far northwest, the mountains there, the coast. And if we're not careful, we mustn't miss out England and Wales.
Well, I mean, I have a deep-seated passion for where we live. Wendy and I live down on the border of Dorset and Somerset, and photographing that landscape, both the Jurassic coast and the rolling landscapes of Wessex over the last 20 years has...
Hardy country.
Yeah, and it's a project that I will never finish. But it's endlessly stimulating, and when you have this real connection with somewhere, I think it comes through in the pictures. I hope it does.
Well, I think it definitely does, and the truth is that your back doorstep landscape, your homeland, is the place that you can go to most often, so you can learn its subtleties and special nuances and the unique weather conditions when they arise. You can perhaps be there and get out there. So you could argue that it jolly well should be the best, the best of your work, and as you say, it's unfinished. For me, that would apply to the North York Moors, but I have a special affection for the lakes, and I feel guilty saying it because the Lake District is super popular and so on, but I still get a thrill from being over there. I find it's like a miniature Scotland, but more sheltered and a little bit softer in its mood and everything.
Yeah. And what about, this is one of the questions I'm asked most, is, my favourite places in the world. So what about abroad? Do you have any kind of one favourite place above all else?
Well, for emotional reasons, I would probably, if I was going to go down that road, and I hate to have favourites, but I would probably go to Zion National Park in Utah. And yourself?
Well, I think if you were to cut off my arm now, you'd see maple syrup in my blood. I have this connection with Canada because of my youth there. And there's so much space there. There's so much scope in Canada. It's just endless. I find it tremendously stimulating. So luckily enough, we tend to be back there, most years in in one region of Canada or the other.
That's great. And before we finish this conversation, I think it's important to mention Wales and Northern Ireland. I think Wales, by the way, for me is a really magical country.
Yeah.
And I spent quite a lot of time in Snowdonia
Yeah.
over the last number of years. But it also has magnificent coastline. Wales.
Yeah, we love the Brecon Beacons.
Great country.
Yeah.